Saturday, 12th March 2022. Today is a big day for Raila Amolo Odinga. Indeed, it is a big day for the country and a turning point in the country's history. It marks a departure from the past in a way nothing else has done since independence. And therefore, on this hot but bright Nairobi morning, I want us to look at this important event, at this important day. Today, Raila joins party leaders at the KICC to have a conversation about working together and perhaps enter into an agreement. Later on in the day, he heads to Jacaranda grounds to have a conversation with the Kenyan people. I say today is an important day because it addresses two fundamental things that have held this country captive and made this country unable to move forward and to realize its potential. Kenya does not belong with the countries it currently dines with. Small, failed states, small, miserable economies, countries that beg around the world, countries with dangerous unemployment, low standards of living. No. Kenya belongs to the League of Important Nations, but it has been held captive by two things which I'll talk about today and which makes me say today is a huge day. Kenya has been held captive by two sets of Kenyans. One driven by some hope, actually hanging on hope, dangerously viewing the hope dwindling, and another community held captive by fear. These contradictions, unless resolved, will mean this country will never move forward. And therefore today, as it becomes clearer by the day that Raila Amolo Odinga might become the president of this country come August this year, it is possible now to talk about the hope. Hope by a big section of this country that through Raila Odinga, the economic challenges that face us, the challenges that make Kenya live as a poor third world country, the problems for which Raila has stood, the challenges he has faced, that Raila embodies that struggle. The struggle that keeps the hope burning, that one day it will happen. The struggle, the realization that is not enough to lament, that is not enough to say things are bad in this country, that there is hope in the struggle. Raila embodies that struggle. He embodies the hope that one day we shall have a country that is working. A country in which the lowest habitat, a city like Nairobi in which Buruburu will be the slum estate. No harm intended to the people who live in Buruburu. That one day, human beings will live decent lives in Nairobi. That nobody in Nairobi will live in these called slums. Habitats are not fit for human beings, at least not in the 21st century. Raila embodies that hope, which today is being brought out in a way to suggest that finally we could be there. The hope that one day the children of this country will get a decent education. The hope that one day Kenyans will have access to the best medical facilities, the best health care, which they are not only entitled to, but which this country can afford. Raila represents that hope. So today, as a big chunk of this country, as almost the entire leadership of this country, as almost all regions in this country come to crown his moment, come to endorse him as a person to take the presidency in August, we have this hope that this country indeed can be saved from the decay. Something else. Raila also represents the hope of those who have lived to see that hope almost dying. The hope that the presidents of this country, indeed the ownership of this country, will one day go beyond the hegemony we've been treated to. That this country will dismantle the dangerous hegemony where only two communities will lead this country. I call it dangerous because when you remove the hope that all of us can participate in the affairs of this country, that anyone can become president of this country, when that hope dies, then you are setting the country on a dangerous trajectory. So that hope today is revived. That hope today is not only revived, but is actually almost actualized. As Raila Amolo Odinga is unveiled today. Because we should stop lying to ourselves. No country can live peacefully with itself if only a tiny segment of that country permanently occupies leadership. That is not sustainable. When the people lose the hope that one day any one of them could be president, they could then do dangerous things. We have seen that happen in other countries with dangerous consequences. So that hope today is not only kept alive, that hope is not just being revived at KICC and Jacaranda today. That hope moves further than being hope to a reality. The hope that this country can realize its potential. The hope that this country belongs to all of us, and indeed, any one of us can become president. The hope that then brings us to a point when we do that which we must do as a people. As a people, we must always live as a people in a way that makes no Kenyan believe is left out. Today is that assurance that if Raila Odinga becomes president, no Kenyan will ever feel again that they are not part of this country. So I say Saturday 12 March 2022 marks that day when the flame of freedom is being lit. When the people of Kenya will go to bed today, knowing that August may be a mere crowning moment, but today is that day that every Kenyan will go to bed knowing this country belongs to all of us. We therefore hope that those who are organizing this event, those who support Raila Odinga, will conduct their affairs in a way that shows they are aware of the historical importance of what they are engaged in. This is not just an election. This is a turning point in Kenya's history. The Kenya that we shall wake up to will be a Kenya so different from the Kenya we have known that people will begin to wonder, how come we never saw this for almost 60 years? That it is possible for Kenyans to live as brothers and sisters. That within the borders of Kenya there is so much, there is plenty. And that is our politics that has made it difficult for us. And when history of this country is written, sometimes to come, President Uhuru Kenyatta will be hailed for doing what he has done to support his brother Raila Odinga. And as I finish, I must address the fear part. For those who have feared, and here I'm talking about my people from the mountain, who have been led by fear, the fear of the unknown, having borne the brunt of colonialism, of the suffering during the emergency, of the Mau terrible days they went through. They have always lived with the fear of what it would be like to be away from power. And therefore today again is a big day because it addresses that fear. Because Uhuru Kenyatta, are meant to understand, will be around. Indeed, if word going around is true, that he may head as a Mio, it then allays the fears of the mountain people. Because if Uhuru is around, not to micromanage Raila, but just to be part of the team that is ushering in a new Kenya, while at the same time assuring the people of the mountain that any fear is not justified. That nothing will happen because he's around. And there will be nothing wrong with that. In Namibia, Sam Manyora has been very much around without interfering with the government, but recognized as a statesman, father of the nation. In Tanzania, we saw the late Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere being very much around after leaving the presidency. Respected, honored, revered. So Uhuru remaining around will be nothing new, nothing strange. It will not be any interference, but it reassures the people who have been driven by fear, the people who have found it difficult to look at another community for presidents, that in this transition period, as we usher in a new Kenya, everything shall be okay. There's nothing to fear. As Kenyans realize its potential, all corners of the country will benefit. That all Kenyans will benefit. Once again, congratulations to Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta on this big day.